Hey everybody, I have 4 stocks for you that I want to share with you guys that I think has potential to grow a good bit. We'll start with some business that Ford has got into recently. A couple weeks ago, Ford signed a deal with a lithium supplier, Lake Resources, out of Argentina. Ford expects over half of their automotive production to be electric by 2030, which is just a few years from now. They did a non-binding agreement with Lake Resources for 25,000 tons a year. You can buy Lake Resources for less than $2 a share. So it's something that's it's worth looking into. And why do I say that? Well, let's take a look at Ford. You remember the bailouts back in 2008 where the auto companies was bailed out? Those two companies that was bailed out was GM and Chrysler. Ford wasn't part of that. So Ford knows their stuff. So if they're investing into this company, something to watch, because Ford usually makes good decisions. So I wanted to share that stock with you. And here's another reason why. This from Bloomberg is the high demand for lithium-ion batteries, and you see down at the bottom, 2010 there was hardly any demand for it. By the time you get to 20 to 30, look how it explodes because of the government regulations that are being put out. Automakers have to change to more electric vehicles. Matter of fact, the Hemi that Dodge makes, the Hemi V8, next year is the last year of production for that motor. They're going to some inline six motors. Sadly enough, I'm a big Dodge fan, so yeah, that kind of stinks. The next one I want to tell you about is Blue Sky Uranium. And the reason why I want to talk about uranium is because you can't have all these lithium demands without having uranium demands, because we don't have the infrastructure to support all these electric vehicles. Did you know that 4 charging stations for cars is equivalent to the same energy of electricity for 250 houses? We don't have the power infrastructure to handle that. So you need nuclear power plants that are not fired by coal, but fired by uranium. 1 pellet of uranium is equal to 17,000 cubic feet of natural gas, 149 gallons of oil, or 1 ton of coal. So uranium is going to go up like crazy when all this infrastructure changing happens, and the government's going to fund it. It's going to happen. So whether we like it or not, there's going to be a lot more electric vehicles on the road in the next few years. It's all about whether we can afford to buy one or not, honestly. But I know Honda and Chevrolet's looking into making one starting out about $30,000 eventually, so we'll see from there. You can get this stock, it's a true penny stock, and get it for less than $1 a share. See, Blue Sky Uranium is in Argentina, and it hosts large deposits of uranium in that area. It's expected to be one of their biggest suppliers. This was from proactiveinvestors.com. Now, the next stock I want to tell you about is actually food. It's called Bush Foods. It's a vegan food company out of Canada, and they have recently got announced expansion into the United States. Now that's huge, because I'll tell you why. It's because they're even talking about putting manufacturing plants here in the United States. Vegan food is expected, plant-based food, should I say, is expected to double in the next 2 to 4 years. Matter of fact, before COVID, one of this vegan food stocks, Beyond Meat, was selling for $240 a share. And then COVID kind of hurt the supply and demand of all this food in your grocery stores and stuff like that, so the stock market has failed. You can buy this stock for less than $1 right now. So you can imagine if you had 1,000 shares, and that you take if this stock would go up to $240 a share. Not saying it will, but if it did, you'd be sitting on $240,000 for 1,000 shares that you paid less than $500 for. That's pretty good. Another thing about Bush Food is that they acquired bean fields, one of the fastest growing producing plant-based snacks in the United States and Canada. Now, what does that do? Well, Bush needed to get into the United States, so he had to get into the stores, the Walmarts, the Targets, all these other places. Well, bean fields was already in 7,000 outlets in North America. So they have access to those stores now. They have the resources to put it in there, so they don't have to seek permission now that they already own bean fields. And by buying bean fields, they have bean fields cash flow. So that lets you know that Bush is a profitable company on the uprise. Like I said, you can get it for less than $1 a share. The last stock that I want to share is Wasana Health Holdings by this guy right here, who is, I believe, 11-year retired hockey player who had a lot of concussions and brain problems. So he experimented with some mushroom medicinal stuff. It worked for him, and he has FDA approval now. So now the stuff can be sold. So you can get it for less than $1 a share. I think it's less than 50 cents right now. So I mean, it's supposed to be the next big thing to medical marijuana, but this is actually from mushrooms. So like I said, there's 4 stocks that I've invested in currently. And I'm going to continue to invest in these, and I just wanted to share some of my research. Guys, thanks for following Blue Media. Like this video, subscribe if you want any updates. Guys, you have a good one.